Welcome back to Make Writing Visible. Yes, I am back here, and what I'm doing today is challenging you with these picture books. I am challenging you to do story add-ons. I have a big plus sign here, and I want you to think about adding on to existing stories. Authors have already worked hard to write these stories. They've thought of the stories. What you have to do is add on to what they have. So read a picture book. Find a part that repeats, a pattern in it that goes over and over again, and then you're adding on to what the author has done. Let me show you what I mean. In I'm Bored by Michael Ian Black and illustrated by Debbie Ridpath-Ojai. I love this story. And in the story, there is a girl who is bored. Bored. Blah. I'm so bored. She's bored until a little bit later in the story, she meets a potato who also is bored. And the girl is, how can potatoes be bored? And the potato says, because I have to hang around with a kid. Kids are boring. And the girl says, what are you talking about? Kids are fun. And then the potato says, prove it. So the girl tries to prove it. She shows that kids can spin around in circles until we get dizzy and almost throw up. So that's one way she shows kids are not boring. Or they can walk on our hands, see? And she keeps trying to prove that kids are not boring. What you could do to add on to this story, you would have to add a kid not boring part. So your add-on is going to be an exciting kid part. So for the book, I'm Bored, you'd have to add an exciting kid part, such as maybe the kid juggles. That's not in the book. Or maybe the kid picks beautiful flowers, a rainbow of flowers, and then throws them like confetti. That's not boring. So you would have to add a part, and you could write the words for that, talking to the potato, proving yourself, and do an illustration for it. So that's how you could add on to I'm Not Bored. Let me give you another example for a story that's a little bit harder. It's a book that I wrote called Pigs in the Mud in the Middle of the Rud, illustrated by John Schoenherr. And in this story, animal after animal gets in the rud, in the road. So it's pigs in the rud, Grandma said. Oh no, won't do. Got a shoe. But who? I'll shoe, that's who, Brother said. And he tries to shoe. And then hens in the rud, Grandma said. Oh no, won't do. Got a shoe. Oh, but who? I'll shoe, that's who, Sister said. And then there's words about how she tried to do the shoeing. She shooed and she clocked and she squawked and she plucked, but the hens didn't scatter. Not a tiny little smatter. There's a lot of repeating words in this story. Mama then tries to shoe the sheep, and then Papa or Dad tries to shoe the bulls. So how do you add on to pigs in the mud in the middle of the rud? What you have to do is you're going to have to think of a new farm animal and add a new farm animal to the story, but also a new shoer, a new family member. So a farm animal, maybe you'll have a horse. There hasn't been a horse in the story. Or maybe a barn cat you could add to the story. For a new shoer, a family member, maybe a baby, goo goo gaga. Or maybe Grandpa could try to do some shoeing because there's not a grandpa in the story. Then you'd have to look and see how I did the words. So it would be like, horse in the rud, Grandpa said. And then you write the whole part about how Grandpa tries to shoe the horse. The hardest example I have is for my book Wild Child that Greg Couch illustrated. I love his illustrations. And this is the story of the wild child Autumn. And she won't go to bed, and her mother, Mother Earth, tries to get her to bed. But the wild child comes up with excuse after excuse. So first she wants a song, and her mother gives her a song with the sounds of fall. And then after she gets the song, and then, now are you ready for bed? Not for a while, said her wild child. A bite first, and eat a bite, a little snack before taking a nap. So Mother Earth gave her child a snack. Crunchy, munchy, chewy chestnuts, plumpy, lumpy, pulpy pumpkins, snapperly, dapperly, cidery apples, puckery, smuckery, crimsony cranberries. There's not many words on these pages, but they are poetic. After that, the wild child is going to want her pajamas, which are the fall leaves. And then finally after that, she is going to want a kiss. So how could you add on to wild child? To add on, she's going to have to come up with a new excuse why she can't go to bed, a bedtime excuse. She'll have to have a new reason why she won't go to bed, different than the reasons I have in the book. And also, her mom will give her the thing she wants, but she has to do it in a poetic way. So the challenge in this story is it's a more difficult kind of writing with the poetic words and things we've talked about before in terms of doing some alliteration or onomatopoeia. So whatever the wild child gets from her mom, it has to sound poetic. See what I mean? You guys could take a picture book. Everybody in your classroom could take a different picture book and you add on a new part. You could do the words, you could do the pictures on blank pieces of paper. And then what you could do is you could tuck them right into the book. So somebody reading the book is going to come across your pages. Don't actually glue them in or tape them in, but somebody will be able to read and enjoy your new part that you've added. For younger students, if it's hard to do their own stories, what teachers can do is do it as a whole class activity, and you can brainstorm as a class what scene you could add to different picture books. So have fun doing story add-ons, and when you add to other people's stories, it's going to help you to be a better writer. You'll start paying attention to parts that repeat in stories. So good luck making writing visible.